Hello and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. Hello. Glad to be here with you again today. Again, if you hear me, I'm a little sick again. Got sick Monday. So that's been a treat. Highly 0 of 10 recommend. So today I thought I'd do a little bit of a different kind of episode just because I thought this would be, again, it's different. I've never actually done one of these before, and I'm going to do a Q&A. So I have some questions that people have asked me. These are kind of standard questions. I get at them a lot. Some of them are really specific, but I feel like could be beneficial for others to hear the answers to, just so that they would know, like, to do this or not do this, or what would I do here myself. So we're going to go ahead and start as soon as I can get the document to load. I was just on the document. Here we go. All right. So this first question is a pretty popular question. I get it often on social medias. I was gonna say on Instagram, but on social medias and even my clients. So how do I increase my protein intake? And there's a very actually simple way to do this without it being super hard or overwhelming. And that's literally just to increase what the fuck you're already eating. So if you're already eating 3 or 4 ounces of chicken, just increase it to 5 ounces of chicken. Or I track everything in grams. So if you're eating around 112 grams of protein or chicken or whatever the protein is, increase it to like 150 or 170 grams. And this is where a lot of people will start going like, I don't know how I'm going to eat all that food, right? Because once we increase the quality of the food, increasing the amount of the food becomes a lot more difficult, because things like the protein and the fiber, even some of the carbs actually start to fill us up a little bit, where we're used to eating more like lower volume, higher calorie foods, things that taste delicious like candy bars or potato chips that don't have they're not very nutrient dense. And so sometimes can be this kind of hard task to start increasing these protein amounts, because it's like, I don't know if I can eat all that. I want to tell you that you can. It might be a little hard, but it's possible. And just to start by increasing literally what you're already consuming. If you're consuming eggs, I'm going to tell you right now, eggs are a fat. A whole egg is a fat. The majority of those calories are coming from the yolk, not from the white. Okay. So when I first started, I was not a big egg white person. So I would always take one whole egg and then I would add in egg whites. That's another way, right? Adding in egg whites to what you're already consuming. You can add egg whites people add them into their protein shakes. People add egg whites into their oats, like overnight oats. People add egg whites into all sorts of stuff. And because most of the time when you're buying just straight pasteurized egg whites, you can actually eat them raw, which I don't do, but some people do it. So it is an option, guys. It is an option. Don't want to be hearing any of this want. I can't do things when you actually can. Okay. So these are options, but just by increasing currently what you're already consuming. So when you're eating your dinner, you're going to increase your protein intake. Whatever you're consuming, take that protein and make it bigger. Okay. That is the easiest, fastest, most efficient way without getting confused, caught in the weeds and all the stuff to increase your protein. All right, here we go. Any guidance on what basics to focus on first, or if my thought process on the basics is accurate? Any guidance? Oh, this is like a repeat. So this is more of a generic question. And what I'm going to answer the first part about this because this was a little bit more of a specific question. I don't really know what this person's thought process of the basics are, but I can answer about guidance on what basic to focus on first. The easiest thing that you can focus on, what makes most sense in your life. If you constantly struggle with all of the basics, like you suck at all of them, and I typically go with the 5, right? So we're talking protein, fiber, we're talking movement, stress management, sleep, and water. The ones that I typically have clients focus on first, typically they're going to be your protein. They're also going to be your water. They could be, depending on where you're at in your life, maybe stress management is like something that needs to change. I have a client where we're focusing on sleep and stress, And we are paying attention to protein and we're doing these things. She is a one-on-one client. So it's easier for me to guide her with multiple of them because I'm watching her. I'm conversating with her every single day if necessary. Like there's reasons that I would tell somebody who doesn't have a coach maybe to focus on one of those things versus all of those things. But to be fair, the first 4 to 5 weeks, we actually just only focused on stress and sleep. And that was it. So I would say that you have to kind of figure out what makes the most sense for you. If water is something that you're like decent at, that could be a basic that you either want to increase or it's maybe good enough. You don't even have to worry about it. So then you can like take it off the table. So then like, what's next? It really depends on what your goals are, what your life looks like. There isn't like a one size fits all, but I will say like, there really isn't a hierarchy. Like, I don't know. I was trying to think of like, if there's like one specific thing, if I could tell you to do one of the basics, I mean, I would say sleep and stress just solely because that will determine if you are able to stick to macros. That will determine your food choices. That will determine if you have the energy to move your body. Those things are going to play a key role into the other basics, right? But it's like, man, maybe like you have a newborn at home or like your life just right now is like, fuck sleep. I can't even deal with it. Okay, but what can you do then? Can you get in 1,000 more steps a day? Can you increase your protein and fiber? Can you pay more attention to just your movement in general or your water intake? Like what makes the most sense for you? That's going to be something that you have to kind of figure out, which can be kind of hard. Again, which is why when you have a coach, it's a little bit easier to figure those intricate pieces out. But I would just advise you that if you're not working with a coach, just pick one thing and do it for like 4 weeks and see how good you can get at it. Like make it a game with yourself. So that would be my, what would you pick? It depends. There is no one size fits all answer here, guys. Which is why we're all individuals. So, all right. Any travel tips? Ooh, this one's hard. I want to have access to a scale starting on Friday. Okay. So any travel tips that we got here? So I'm going to be traveling in March. Actually, we are headed to Florida for spring break. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Not much changes when I go on vacation. I find a place to go work out because that sets the tone for my day. It is something that is a non-negotiable for me. I'm not willing to give up my movement. So I constantly will find whether it's a Planet Fitness or a local gym. I will go to the gym at most days. Typically on days that we travel, I might not do that. But I will absolutely, when we get there, find a gym and I will go to the gym. I would also say, make sure that your water is elevated. Typically when we go on vacation, we already are moving more. A lot of us are doing some sightseeing and walking and things that we don't normally do at home. So that's already like a bonus most of us get out of vacation. Because you're not sitting at a desk working all day, right? And then obviously like just still paying attention to your food. I don't necessarily think that you're required to track while on vacation. In fact, I recommend oftentimes that you don't do it. But I will say you still need to be making sure that your meals have an adequate amount of protein, right? Making sure that we are planning in for alcoholic drinks, making sure that we are the movement element is going to be beneficial, like to kind of offset or balance with possibly this food. But also, guys, this is vacation. We should be enjoying fucking vacation. We should not be worried about the scale. We should not be worried about gaining all this weight. And if you go into it and you go into it with the thought and the feeling of, this is vacation, and why am I really here? Is it so that you can just go eat everything under the sun? Is that what this is permission to do? No, but you can enjoy yourself. Like we go to this place called, what is it called? The Bird Dog. I think it's the dog something. I don't remember. The Bird Dog. I don't remember what it is. And it's like we end up there a few times, like probably 5+ times throughout the time that we're in Florida. And it's delicious. But also when I go there, I don't just get whatever the fuck I want. I'm still paying attention to my choice. No matter what I get there, I know it's going to be good. So it's a solid choice for me. But I do have boozy drinks and I do other things, right? And I might have ice cream when I don't normally, right? Because there's an ice cream place right next door. So there's like other things that are going to come into play there. But I am planning, I am preparing, I'm making sure I have what I need. I'm going to make sure that I have the yogurts that I typically have, starting my day off with 25 plus grams of protein. It's not optional for me, guys. So when you are traveling, there's things that you can do to mitigate these things that will come up, but also you have to have this hashtag balance and enjoy life. Like you're on fucking vacation. Be on vacation. Okay. Ooh, this one's a good one. What are some ways you stay on track when you're emotional? Well, this was me last week, probably why I'm sick now. Life always is lifing, isn't it? And it's just a matter of being able to stop and pause and go, this doesn't have to affect my life in the greatest of ways. And maybe it is something in your life that is great, right? That's what happened to me this last week, where it was overwhelming and I didn't even know how to process things. And I ended up probably sick because my immune system took a shit because my stress elevated excessively, like so excessively. And I did not do a great job managing it, right? Excuse me. And so here we are. And this is a prime example of what happens when you don't fucking manage your stress. But I think that there's also this element of like, just push through and just keep going. And you want to know what? My stress was so high that literally on Friday, I didn't do a fucking thing. I sat in my bed and I literally watched Sweet Magnolias and I just binge watched it the whole day. That's what I did. I didn't even care. I was just like, I'm not even doing anything. Like, I don't even care to do a post or a reel or an email or anything. And it was that way the whole weekend. Saturday afternoon, we had a swim meet. I went to the swim meet. We went out for dinner, came home. Sunday, we played poker. This is when I was starting not to feel the greatest. I was like, fuck. And so, Sunday we did whatever. Yesterday, I was down and out, tried to work out, started at a new gym. I was like, let's just pile on more reasons to fucking go crazy, right? I came home from the gym. I did my fat loss basics check and call, and then I passed the fuck out for 2 hours. And it was just a very slow day. I tried to write an email. It never got finished, sent it out today. Like, I just had to be patient with myself. Today, I'm feeling much more energized. I actually do feel better, even though I don't sound like it. I got way better sleep last night. And it just, patience, right? We have to find this hashtag balance. I don't know why I keep using this word today, but we have to find this space of allowing ourselves to feel, but also there are times that we have to we can give ourselves time and space to process and do what we need, but life is going to keep moving and we can't just keep stopping every time something big happens. So it's really about figuring out when to push, when to pause, and how to manage your stress the best. I didn't use any stress management tools on Wednesday, Thursday. So I am not shocked. Plus we had a snow day Thursday. I'm not shocked that I got sick over the weekend. I'm not shocked that my, immune system kind of tanked because it was bad. It was really, really bad. Right. And also like yesterday, I didn't really eat. I think I ate maybe, 800 calories throughout the whole day. I had no appetite. I wasn't hungry. Nothing sounded good. Excuse me. Nothing sounded good. Again, finding patience with myself to not make it mean something or shove food down my throat just because I quote have to eat, right? It's finding these moments and pockets to just be patient with yourself, figure it out, allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. And you have to pick up and you have to keep going. Again, it doesn't mean that we have to completely ignore, just push it all down and keep going and trudge it on and all the things, Sparta, right? Like this is not that vibe, but we do have to give ourselves some space, some patience, some grace, figure it out, and then keep going. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Thoughts on protein shakes for breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast person. That's quick and easy for me. Thinking maybe adding powder to my oatmeal. Overheard someone say you shouldn't drink them if you're not working out. Good Lord. And this is the bullshit that every day we deal with on the interwebs. Okay. So number one, whether or not you use protein powder has nothing to do with if you're working out or not. It has absolutely nothing to do with working out. Okay. I just want to preface that. And there are pros and cons to having a protein shake for breakfast. The pro is it's at least getting something in your system, especially if you're not a breakfast eater, which you should be eating breakfast. Okay. There is that. But the second part, or the opposite effect of that, is typically our bodies, psychologically, our brains, part of the digestive system is to actually chew food. This is part of the process. And when we only are drinking shakes, we are not actually allowing our body to do the process that it needs to by chewing food, swallowing food, and then digesting the food. Okay. So I will say though that protein shakes sometimes can be a little bit easier on the stomach. Again, especially if you're not used to or accustomed to eating breakfast, that is okay. But I would highly recommend slowly trying to add in something. Now, another thing that I like are the ratio protein yogurts. Super simple on the belly. There's not a lot of chewing involved. I would add in some berries to get in some fiber. They're 25 grams of protein, just like a protein shake is. And this way you can put in some berries, get in some fiber. I'm not going to say that I would tell my clients never eat a protein shake for breakfast, but I will also say that I would eventually transition them out. They would eventually need to do a little bit more than that. And that would be an ongoing process. However, it's quick, it's easy, it's something, and something is always going to be better than nothing. But also, please, you can still drink whey protein if you are not working out. Like it does, that is the most redonkulous thing I ever have heard. All right. So the last one here is all about goal weights. Okay. I put my goal weight at 160 pounds. That's just a guess. I looked it up on Google and it's on the high range for my height. Wonder if you have any info on choosing a goal weight. Okay. So let's just start here with number one. This person probably got their goal weight when she's talking about the high end, I'm guessing, on the BMI chart. The BMI chart is trash. Why this is still being used, I don't understand. Why we are still going off of BMI, I do not understand. With all of the fucking data that we have, with all of the studies that we have, the research that has been done, BMI has been shown to literally be garbage. It does not show anything about your lean body mass, which does matter and play a role into your body composition. And while I'm just dumbfounded, if your doctor is still using BMI, please stop. Your doctor is stuck in the Stone Ages and they need to really get out of there. And I'm going to say it, they need to get into the research that's happening today. And I would question their ability to doctor you in the weight management space if they're using BMI as a fucking, item, okay? Or as a data point. So I'm going to say, fuck the BMI. Now, choosing a goal weight. You can choose whatever the fuck goal weight you want. Just go into it knowing it might fucking change. You might have a goal weight of 130 pounds and realize, you know what? I got to 147 pounds and I look and I feel great. Awesome. Then we don't have to go to 130 pounds, right? This is why numbers are kind of very ambiguous, why we shouldn't be looking to them as the holy grail of all the things. And it's because of the fact that the number can change. How I look right now at the weight that I am versus when I started, I have so much more lean mass on my body that I don't look anything the same. So I don't look like I weigh what most people think that I weigh, okay? Or what they don't actually think that I weigh. I look like I'm a lot leaner than what the scale might portray because I have more lean mass on my body. This is how people get really caught up and we get really distracted and we get really set off and really put down by the scale. And the scale is really just a data. Now, some of us are like, yes, but Sarah, I do have fat to lose. Hey, that's great. Set a goal weight, right? Just set a goal weight and just be willing to be able to move it. Okay. It's okay to change that number. Go with it with knowing that goal weight can be changed. It doesn't have to stick where it's at. You're not required to have it be where it is. You can literally just move the goal weight. Maybe you get to your goal weight of 130 pounds and you're like, oh man, I still kind of want to lose some, right? Then it comes into more of well, do we just need a recomp? Do we actually need to add lean mass? Do we just need to stay in a cut? And it'd be in a deficit and actually lose fat. All of these things are going to play a role, and they matter when it comes to this part, when it comes to knowing, right? You're not going to know if you chose the right goal weight until you fucking hit the goal weight or you don't. Okay. I had a goal weight of 155 pounds when I started Weight Watchers back after Jane was born. So we're talking 15 years ago, almost 14, 15 years ago. And when I got to my lowest weight of 158 pounds, I was like, oh my God, how would I have ever gotten here? Never strength training. Like I couldn't imagine at 162 pounds, which is where I stopped at with Weight Watchers. And then I ended up gaining everything back. Shocker. I didn't look anything like I look at 158 pounds. And it has nothing to do with those 4 pounds. It's literally because my entire body had changed by strength training. I wasn't strength training. I was like, cardio city, let me run a half marathon. Oh my God, this is so great. Right. But of course, 15 years ago, my BMI said the top range for me was 155 pounds. Like there's no fucking way. The lower range was like 137 pounds. I was like, I would look like a fucking, I don't even know. It would not look good on me. 137 pounds would not look good on me, especially after strength training and learning how lean mass works and understanding muscle and all this stuff. At 158 pounds, I was like, I was fucking looking hot. Like I was like, oh, damn. Okay. I could not imagine 20 pounds less of fat. I'm like, where would that even come from? You know, yeah, I still had some off my butt and my hips that I could have lost. Sure. A little bit in my arms and back. But like, honestly, like, I was just like, I don't know where 20 pounds would come from. So again, go into these things understanding like this is okay to change and to move. And your goal weight doesn't have to be a set in stone number. You can pick a goal weight and then decide, hey, that I don't like that goal weight. I need to go lower, or I need to go a little higher. Because really at the end of the day, it's just like, you're going to get to a place where it looks good, where you feel good. And you could look in the mirror at 160 pounds and not like yourself, right? But you could also look at yourself at 170 pounds and really enjoy what you see. But because it's not the weight that you want it to be, well, then you're going to get, oh, I got to go 10 more down. But yeah, but if you like what you look, who fucking cares? Right? If you like what you see in the mirror, if you feel good in your skin, who fucking cares what the number is? That's what really matters, right? So these are my Q&As. I'm going to do another episode like this. I don't think I've ever done a Q&A episode in over 300 episodes. So I guess 350 would be a great one to do it on. So I'm going to go ahead and also, if you want to ask more questions, get more answers, I would love to do another Q&A. So I will catch you guys on the next episode.